181,565 people lost over $11 billion to cryptocurrency fraud in 2025. That number alone tells you how massive this problem is. But here is what most of them never understood. Everything hinges on those first 72 hours after realizing they've been scammed. The difference between recovering your money and watching it disappear forever comes down to how fast you act. I'm going to walk you through exactly what needs to happen right now if this occurs to you. Not the theoretical stuff buried on some government website, but the actual process that law enforcement and recovery professionals use every single day. We're talking about what to do in that first hour, what action matters most during the first day, which recovery methods genuinely work versus what is just going to waste your time. And then I'm going to show you how to avoid getting scammed a second time by the people who claim they can help you recover. If you've already lost money to this, or you're worried it is about to happen, watch all the way through. Let me put this in perspective, because the numbers are genuinely shocking. $11.4 billion in cryptocurrency fraud losses just in 2025. That is a 22% jump from the year before, and crypto fraud now ranks as the single biggest source of internet crime losses in America, outpacing romance scams, business email compromise, everything else combined. To understand what that means on an individual level, the average person caught in one of these scams walks away $62,604 poorer. Nearly 18,600 victims lost over $100,000. These aren't small sums of money for most households. But what really gets you is where these losses are concentrated. Most complaints come from people in their 40s, which tells you something about who is actually vulnerable here. These aren't people who lack technical knowledge or financial literacy. They're professionals, business owners, people who manage money for a living. They're tech-savvy enough to invest in cryptocurrency, just not skeptical enough to catch the scam before it is too late. Then you look at the elderly. People over 60 reported $7.7 billion in losses across all types of cybercrime in 2025, which represents a 37% spike from the previous year. And cryptocurrency specifically has become the dominant financial risk in their lives. They're being targeted with precision. The scammers know that older adults often have accumulated savings. They're less likely to challenge authority figures who contact them, and they may be less comfortable with technology, which makes them easier to manipulate. So this isn't about intelligence or incompetence. This is about scammers who have industrialized the process of stealing from people, and they're getting more sophisticated every single month. Before we talk about what to do if you get scammed, you need to understand the main types of scams actually catching people right now, because different scams require different responses. The dominant one at the moment is called a pig butchering scam, also known as romance baiting or Shaju Pan. Here is how it unfolds. Someone reaches out to you on social media or a dating app. They invest weeks or months building what feels like a genuine relationship with you. They ask about your life, they share things about theirs, they seem genuinely interested in you. Then, somewhere in that trusted space, they mention a cryptocurrency investment opportunity. Maybe a friend of theirs made incredible returns. Maybe they have a connection to someone with inside information about a token about to explode. Maybe they know about some exclusive opportunity that only certain people can access. Because you trust them at this point, because they've spent months establishing that trust, you're willing to take the risk they're proposing. The reason it is called pig butchering is because the entire operation is designed to maximize how much money victims will send. You're being fattened up before slaughter. Rug pulls work completely differently. Someone creates a new cryptocurrency token, generates hype around it through fake social media accounts and misleading promotions, gets people excited enough to buy in, and then the development team simply vanishes. The website disappears. The token becomes worthless. Everyone holding it loses everything. Pump and dump schemes follow a similar pattern, but run longer. Scammers coordinate buying to artificially inflate the price. They get people excited about the returns. They watch the price climb, and then they dump all their shares at the peak, which crashes the price and leaves everyone else buried. Fake cryptocurrency exchanges look nearly identical to real ones, like Coinbase or Kraken. You create an account, deposit money, think you're buying Bitcoin, and your funds just transfer directly into the scammer's control. These sometimes combine with phishing attacks where the fake website is designed to steal your private keys or recovery phrases. When you try to set up a wallet, impersonation scams involve someone pretending to be customer support from a real exchange or wallet company. They'll claim there is suspicious activity on your account, or you need to verify your identity immediately. Or there is a security issue demanding instant attention. They pressure you to share your recovery phrase or private keys while thinking you're talking to the legitimate company. More than fourfold increases in impersonation scams occurred in 2025, with elderly people targeted especially heavily. And then there is the genuinely frightening category, AI-enabled scams. Over 22,000 complaints involving AI surfaced in 2025, costing Americans nearly $900 million. These deploy deepfakes, which are fake videos of celebrities or family members, voice clones that sound exactly like someone you know and trust. Fake documents that look completely authentic. You might see a video of a celebrity endorsing a cryptocurrency investment, except it is not actually the celebrity at all. Or you might receive a phone call from someone sounding exactly like your son asking for emergency money in Bitcoin, except an AI-generated voice clone created that call. Distinguishing what is real from what is fabricated is getting exponentially harder. Every scam shares the same core mechanism. They use pressure, social engineering, and the promise of easy money to convince you to move funds to a wallet or account the scammer controls. Once that money arrives in their account, it is gone. Most people don't realize something fundamental. Blockchain transactions are permanently recorded, which means they're also completely traceable. Every movement of every coin creates an unbreakable record on the blockchain. This is where blockchain forensics comes in. Analysts can actually follow the path of your cryptocurrency. They trace it from your wallet to the scammer's wallet to wherever they moved it next. They can see every single transaction because it is all public information on the blockchain. Law enforcement agencies use this. Private blockchain analysis firms use this. Occasionally, this tracking leads to actual fund recovery. Here is what a realistic recovery timeline looks like based on case complexity and reporting speed. If you report within 24 to 72 hours with complete documentation, your transaction ID, the scammer wallet address, and all communications, you are categorized as a fast-track case. These typically resolve between a few days and 8 weeks. The reason this window matters is that the funds haven't yet been moved, mixed through multiple wallets, or exchanged for other cryptocurrencies. Working with a professional blockchain forensics firm usually requires 14 to 45 days to trace the transaction path and determine whether recovery is actually possible. The transaction complexity, how many wallets the money passed through, whether privacy coins got involved, whether mixing services were used, all of that affects the timeline significantly. Most cases take months to resolve. Many don't result in any recovery at all. This is the honest answer. If the scammer used a privacy coin like Monero or deployed a coin mixing service to hide the trail, or sent funds through multiple decentralized exchanges, then the transaction becomes exponentially harder to follow. The blockchain remains traceable, but it is not magic. Someone who knows what they're doing and takes steps to hide the path can make recovery nearly impossible. Law enforcement has gotten exceptionally skilled at this, though. The Secret Service seized the largest ever amount of cryptocurrency connected to confidence scams in June of 2025. The Department of Justice recovered $2.5 million in cryptocurrency from fraud schemes just a few months earlier. It is genuinely happening. It is just not guaranteed to happen for every case. You've just realized you've been scammed. Panic is setting in, which is normal, but now comes the part that actually matters. Stop all communication. Send no more money to anyone involved in this scam. This seems obvious, but scammers maintain pressure relentlessly. Once they have your trust, they'll tell you that you need to deposit additional funds to unlock your investment, or they've discovered an emergency situation, or they've found a way to recover your original loss if you just send a little more. Don't send anything. Cut off all contact immediately. Block them on whatever app or platform they were using. Delete those messages. Make it impossible for them to reach you. Document everything. And I mean absolutely everything. Take screenshots of every message. Screenshot their social media profile. Screenshot every chat conversation you had with them. Save emails. Write down specific dates and times of any phone calls with timestamps. Get the scammer's wallet address, which is where they told you to send money. Get your transaction ID, the unique blockchain identifier for your transfer. This is called the TXID or hash, and it is absolutely critical for any recovery attempt. Write down the exact amount of cryptocurrency you sent and what type. Bitcoin, Ethereum, some altcoin they were promoting. Write the date and time you sent it, any website or platform they had you use, and take screenshots of all their promises to you. This documentation becomes your evidence file, and multiple agencies are going to need it. Alert your financial institution. If you funded this scam through a bank transfer, wire transfer, or other payment method, contact your bank right now. Tell them exactly what happened and request an immediate reversal if possible. The window for reversals is tight, sometimes just 24 hours, so this cannot wait. Also put a fraud alert on your credit report immediately. This is completely free and doesn't hurt your credit score. A fraud alert tells creditors that they need to verify your identity before opening new accounts in your name. Given that scammers often have personal information about you, this protective step makes sense. Contact the cryptocurrency exchange if needed. If the scammer had you move money through an exchange like Coinbase to purchase crypto before sending it out, call that exchange immediately. Tell them you've been defrauded. Give them the recipient wallet address where your money went and ask them to flag it or freeze it if possible. Here is what you need to understand. If the money hasn't left the exchange yet, the exchange sometimes can freeze the destination wallet. This doesn't always work, and it only happens if the receiving wallet is also registered with that exchange, but it is worth asking immediately. Every exchange has a fraud process, and they take this seriously. File reports with law enforcement. This is not optional. You need to file an official report with the FBI. Go to ic3.gov, which is the Internet Crime Complaint Center, and file a complaint right on the website. They're going to ask for all the documentation you just compiled, the scammer's information, your transaction details, the TXID, the wallet addresses, everything. The FBI specifically wants transaction details because that is what is actually useful to them. They're looking for the cryptocurrency address where you sent money, the exact amount, the type of cryptocurrency, the date and time, and the transaction hash. File a complaint with the FTC at Report Fraud. FTC.gov at the same time. The FTC collects reports from consumers and law enforcement to identify fraud patterns and launch investigations. If you are 60 or older, call the National Elder Fraud Hotline at 833-372-8311 and they'll walk you through filing your IC3 complaint with help. Report this to your local law enforcement or your local FBI office as well. Some jurisdictions let you file online. Others require you to go in person. Contact your state's Attorney General. Many states run specialized cybercrime units that investigate these cases specifically. And if the scam involved someone impersonating a real securities firm, or if they pitched what looked like a securities investment, file a complaint with the SEC at 1-800-732-0330 or through their website. The SEC takes fraud seriously and has dedicated resources for it. These agencies don't always solve individual cases quickly, but they do use this data. They map patterns. They identify major criminals. And when they recover seized assets, victims can sometimes get restitution. This is where I need to be completely direct with you, because what I'm about to describe happens constantly. And it is genuinely infuriating. You get scammed. You're upset and desperate to get your money back. Then your phone blows up. Messages arrive from people claiming to be cryptocurrency recovery specialists, blockchain forensics experts, asset recovery attorneys. They guarantee they can get your money back. Some even claim they have law enforcement connections or insider access to the blockchain. This is the second scam, and it is specifically engineered to exploit you while you're vulnerable. These fake recovery services operate as advance fee scams targeting people already victimized. They feed on desperation and the natural desire to fix what happened. Every federal agency warns about this repeatedly. The FBI warns about it. The FTC warns about it constantly. Every major law enforcement organization warns about it. Here is how it unfolds. They contact you directly, usually through social media or email. They claim they've learnt about your case and can help you. They tell you they need an upfront fee, sometimes a percentage of what they claim they can recover, sometimes a flat rate, to access special recovery software or blockchain reversal tools, or to file special paperwork with law enforcement. Some operate with particular cruelty by claiming they can use reversal software to undo the transaction completely. This is completely false. This is impossible. You cannot reverse a blockchain transaction. This tool doesn't exist. Nobody has developed it. Anyone claiming otherwise is lying directly to your face. You pay the fee. They disappear. Your money is gone. Now you've been robbed twice. This is the one thing to be genuinely paranoid about. Not cryptocurrency in general. Not investing itself, but recovery services that contact you directly with promises to fix this situation. Legitimate recovery services work on contingency arrangements. You don't pay anything up front. They only get paid if they successfully recover funds. They can show verifiable credentials. They can provide actual references. They explain clearly how fees work without requiring upfront payments. A real attorney specializing in cryptocurrency fraud will work on contingency or charge hourly fees. A real blockchain forensics firm will explain what recovery actually looks like given your specific situation and what is realistic. Fake recovery services will pressure you constantly. They'll invent urgency. They'll ask for money immediately. They'll operate through social media profiles that look hastily created. They might even use hacked Reddit accounts to promote their services and fake testimonials from supposed past clients. So if someone reaches out offering fund recovery, here is your gut check. Do not pay anything up front. Do not send them money. Do not give them access to your accounts or passwords. Ask for verifiable credentials. Ask for references from other actual victims they've recovered funds for. Most importantly, don't believe recovery promises that sound too good to be true because they are. Let me spend some time on prevention now, because honestly, not getting scammed in the first place beats any recovery effort. Here are the red flags that if you're investing in cryptocurrency going forward, you absolutely should watch for. Anyone promising guaranteed returns, daily profits, or any investment with zero risk isn't operating a legitimate business. That is not how investing works. That is a scam. Unsolicited investment opportunities should trigger immediate skepticism. The vast majority of crypto scams begin when someone reaches out to you. Someone contacts you through social media or an app, starts building a relationship with you, then proposes investment. Be skeptical of strangers offering to make you money. Never give your private keys or recovery phrases to anyone for any reason. This is non-negotiable. No legitimate platform asks for these. Not Coinbase, not your bank, not law enforcement, not anyone else. If someone asks for your recovery phrase or private key, they're trying to steal your cryptocurrency. Celebrity endorsements increasingly come from deepfakes and fabrication. If you see a celebrity promoting a coin, Go directly to that celebrity's official social media accounts and verify it independently. Don't click links from the scam website. Pressure and urgency are manipulation tactics, pure and simple. Limited time offers, deals closing today. You need to act now. These all serve one purpose, pushing you into a decision without thinking. Real investments don't require artificial deadlines. Teams that are vague or completely anonymous should worry you immediately. Look for information about who is running the project. Can you find their LinkedIn profiles? Does their work history check out? Anonymous teams are a major red flag. When payment gets requested through irreversible methods, that is enormous warning sign. Bitcoin payments, wire transfers, Bitcoin ATM purchases. These methods cannot be undone once sent. Fake websites that mimic real ones very closely are increasingly common. Check the URL carefully because scammers use subtle variations. Instead of Coinbase.com, it might be Coinbase.com. These look very similar, but direct to fake sites. Honestly, the biggest indicator is when something feels off. It probably is. Most people who lose money to these scams describe the same experience afterward. They had a gut feeling something was wrong, but they wanted to believe the opportunity was real so much that they ignored that instinct. Cryptocurrency scams cost Americans over $11 billion in 2025 alone. That number keeps climbing. The scams keep evolving with AI and deepfakes, making them harder to identify. Most people who fall victim never recover their money. But if you do fall victim, you have a concrete action plan right now. Document everything. Alert your financial institutions immediately. File reports with the FBI, FTC, SEC, and local law enforcement within those critical 72 hours. Avoid paying any recovery services up front. Only work with legitimate attorneys or forensics firms operating on contingency. Accept the reality that recovery is possible, but never guaranteed. Your best move remains avoiding the scam entirely by staying genuinely skeptical and watching for those red flags we discussed. If this has already happened to you, I'm sorry. It is awful, but the time to act is right now. Those first 72 hours matter.